Hello, hello, good afternoon, this cold afternoon. Today, I invite you to talk about inversions. What are they? When do you use them? And how do you use them after all? Let's learn how to use and talk about inversions. What are they? When do you use them? And okay, now it's all set. Now I have removed the sound from YouTube. So yes, what are inversions? How do you use them? When do you use them? And what do you use them for? Let's learn. So come to this live with me and I'm going to teach you everything about inversions and how to effectively use them on a daily basis or whenever you have the chance, right? So let's go. Let's just start discussing what are inversions. So when we talk about inversions, does anything come to your mind? Do you know what an inversion is? Well, an inversion is basically when you invert, as the name says, when we invert the order in a sentence. So we either invert the auxiliary verb and the noun, or we invert the word order in a sentence. So this is considered an inversion. And when are inversions used? Inversions are mostly used in more formal situations. So usually when you are writing, but they can also be used in conversations. They are used to add emphasis. So let me start sharing my mind map with you, just so you can see everything I prepared. Let me just get it open. There you go. So first of all, let's talk the meaning. Let's talk about the meaning of an inversion. Why do we use an inversion? What is the meaning that they have? They are used for emphasis. So what they are, we've already discussed, right? What inversions are. So when you invert the order of words in a sentence, why do we use them? For emphasis, basically for emphasis, to add drama, to add a little more drama to your sentence, to your speech, to make it emphasize, to make it stronger. When do you use it? You use it in more formal situations. So again, when you're writing reports, emails, essays, stories, but you can also use in casual conversations when you want to add a little bit of emphasis or more drama to your sentences, then you are allowed to use inversions. But how often can you use inversions, or how often should you use inversions? In fact, inversions are something that you should use carefully. You should never overuse inversions, because the impression that your listener is going to have on you is not a pleasant one. So, first of all, you can sound arrogant. So, if you use it very often, you can sound arrogant and also unnatural. Have you ever heard Master Yoda from Star Wars? I don't know, exercise every day you shall. So this is a completely inverted sentence. And if you repeat it, if you use inversions very often, you will sound like Master Yoda. Totally unnatural. Avoid doing that if you don't want to start becoming green, you know? So avoid doing that. If you don't want to get short and green, don't do that very often. And it can also be confusing. Your message can be confusing. After all, if you keep inverting the sentences all the time, it will sound like, whoa, what is she talking about, right? So once in a while, okay, once in a while in a sentence, fine, but never, never, never overuse them. Otherwise, it will be unclear, unnatural, and maybe even arrogant, or like a person who has no idea what they're talking whatsoever. Because in order to use an inversion, you have to have a very good and excellent command of the basic and intermediate structures of English. Otherwise, using an inversion will be incoherent. Yes, how come you are not even able to produce more simple stretches of language and you're writing an inversion? It's not compatible, so you have to be careful with that. In order to use an inversion, you should be totally in command of more simple and even the intermediate structures of English, right? But after all, now that you know what are inversions, why you use them, when, where, and how often, let's talk a little about the form. So how can we form inversions? What is the format of inversions? Inversions can be formed in some different ways. Let me just collect this other part here. There will be a practice part in which you're going to practice. So we use inversions very often with negative adverbials. And what are negative adverbials? Never, rarely, hardly, no sooner than, and not only. So let's have a look at these examples here. Instead of saying, I have never seen such a beautiful scenery, you can invert to add emphasis and say, never have I seen such beautiful scenery. Is it something you're going to say? Imagine you are with your husband, I don't know, by the lake, and you're not going to turn to him and say, never have I seen such beautiful scenery. But unless you are very dramatic, we would use something more natural. However, in books, literacy, in books and novels, you may find this kind of construction, right? Rarely do we talk about such sensitive topic. So again, here we are adding emphasis. The negative adverbial here in the first sentence is never. The negative adverbial here in the second sentence is rarely. So you see, look what we inverted here. Here we inverted present perfect. I've never seen, never have I seen. Here we inverted simple present. We talk about this topic very rarely. Rarely do we talk about this topic. So rarely is a negative adverb. The same here in the third sentence. Hardly had we met when we moved in together. In the logical order, in the natural order of sentence, it would be we had hardly met when we moved in together. Again, here you are adding emphasis to say how hardly had you met before, how little you knew each other before you moved in together. And now I just remembered one more. Let me type in here. Little did I know. I will tell you about this one a little bit later. Here, the other negative adverbial. No sooner had she left than he arrived. Here is important to remember that every time you use no sooner, the second part of the sentence should have a then, because this is a comparative. Can you see? So no sooner had she left than he arrived. This means what? That she left and immediately after that, she arrived. No sooner had I taught my son how to ride a bike, he started to ride on his own. Then he started to ride on his own. Sorry, I forgot. So no sooner had I taught my son how to ride a bike, then he started to ride on his own. You see, this is how you combine these two sentences together. The negative adverbial being here, no sooner, then. Then, this is a more well-known structure. Not only. So not only was she a great teacher, she was also an amazing person. And you can also have but here. Not only was she a great teacher, but she was also an amazing person. Remember, guys, it's not compulsory to use inversions. You may use them or you may not. But most commonly, if you start a sentence with a negative adverbial, you will need the inversion after, okay? However, you can use the regular order here. Not only she was a great teacher, she was also an amazing person. So with not only, it's okay to keep the regular order. Not only she was a great teacher, she was also an amazing person, okay? And here, this expression, little did I know. For example, I thought that working from home will be calm and peaceful. Little did I know, like I had no idea. I like to tell my students that this is like that expression, sabe de nada, inocente. Little did I know, that's exactly it. And we use the inversion because of little. Little did I know. Let me see if we have questions coming. I will not be able to see if there are questions coming because we are live. So I'm going to check the questions later, okay? We also use, if you have questions, guys, type them and I'll check them later. We may use inversions as well to express conditionals. So when you have conditionals without the particle if. Débora, but how can you make conditionals without using if? I'm going to show you, and I'm sure you know, you have already seen conditionals without if. Why do you use it? To add a more dramatic effect. You know, inversions are all about drama and all about emphasis, so keep this in mind. Had I known it was your birthday, I would have brought you something. Would you say this to your best friend? It would sound a bit posh, you know, a bit stuck up. Had I known it was your birthday, I would have brought you something. No, oh man, if I knew it was your birthday, I would have brought something. Or if I had known it was your birthday, I would have brought you something. Okay? But if you want to give emphasis, if you want to sound more formal, more polite, then you use the inversions. Here is something you see very often in notices, in warnings, or when you buy something. Should you need any help or should you need help, don't hesitate to contact me. This is usually a way to finish emails or, yeah, it's usually emails when you send an email to a colleague. Should you need any help, don't hesitate to contact me. This is very common. Should you decide to leave, please make sure you shut the door. So there are many warnings that use this should, and this should means if. If you need help, don't hesitate to contact me. If you need to leave, make sure you close the door. You see? So it's a more formal way to make a conditional. We also use inversions in this very, very common structure. So to add agreement. So do I. So have I. So I have, I don't know. I've just finished exercising. Ooh, so have I. I really love cold weather. So do I. Right? So it's kind of an inversion as well, but used to agree. The same as with neither. Neither do I, neither am I, neither could I. And also with such for emphasis. So you can say such was the impact that I felt the entire room shake. So the impact was so strong. And this such means exactly that, how the impact was. It was such a strong impact, so the regular order would be this. It was such a strong impact that I felt the entire room shake. Such was the impact that I felt the entire room shake. And now, if you're ready, now I'm going to check. Let me see now. Let me stop sharing my screen to check your comments, if we have anything. Well, if you have any questions or anything you'd like to comment, please just let me know, all right? Let me know, and I will go to you. Because now it's time to practice. Let's practice now. I prepared an activity for you. And if you want to have access, to this mind map, join my WhatsApp group. The link is in my Instagram bio. So join my WhatsApp group, and I'm going to send you the mind map. So let's go, let's practice. Let me find myself again. Here we are. Look, practice. I have 3 sentences that I want to transform. So just like C1 advanced activity, sentence transformation. Complete each sentence so that it has a similar meaning to the original sentence. Use the words provided and make sure to use between 3 and 5 words in total. So look at the first one. She had never seen such a magnificent painting before. And you have to use the word never. Remember, you have to add between 3 and 5 words, no more than that. Second sentence, if I had known about the traffic, I would have left earlier. And third one, I realized the truth only after she left. And you have to use the word only. Okay, so I'm going to give you here some minutes to think about the sentences. If you're watching the recording, pause the recording right now, or you can start doing the exercises, the activities, the sentences, and I'm going to come to you in 1 minute to give you the answer. All right? Okay, I think we're good to go, right? I think we're good to go. So let's see. She had never seen such a magnificent painting. Which one here is the negative adverbial? We have never. So we start with the negative adverbial. Never. And then we don't have a before, right? So never had she seen, never had she seen such a magnificent painting before. That's it. Done. In the second one, is it a negative adverbial or are we creating a conditional without if? What do you think? From the first sentence, you can see that we are creating a conditional without if. So we start with had. If I had known about the traffic, I would have left earlier. Had I known about the traffic, I would have left earlier. So remember, every time you use this structure, had I is the participle, right? Past participle. Had I known, had I seen, had I heard, had I been, right? Always a participle. Had I known about the traffic, I would have left earlier. And here, I realized the truth only after she left. So I start with the adverb, with the negative adverb. Only when she left. What is the auxiliary verb in this sentence? What are we going to add here to make it an inversion? What are we going to put here? Look at this sentence, simple past, right? So because here we have simple past, only when she left did I realize the truth. See? So if you want to get this mind map and some more example sentences, some more sentences to practice, go to my Instagram, check the link in my bio. There is a VIP group on WhatsApp, and I'm going to send everything there. So I'll see you in our next live session. And also, leave an example here using one of these inversions, right? Let's see if you get them. Bye-bye. See you in our next live.